Rhythm. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys, and of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that is in the description box down below.
Yeah.
And as we get rolling here tonight on the fanliest of Fridays, thank you so much to everybody here, chilling, hanging with us. We have some shout outs to give, some news, some info, some updates, of course, everything that you need to know when it comes to our Cowboys as we get ready for our Sunday game against the Ravens.
We got a preview here right now, our Week 3 preview after a horrible last week. And a great first week, horrible last week. We'll see how things happen here at home against a supposedly much tougher team, who's, by the way, 0-2. We'll get into the nitty-gritty. We'll talk about the matchups to watch and the keys to victory for our Dallas Cowboys. There is a way. You know how this thing goes, guys. We already seen a little preview of some disastrous football last week. So hopefully it don't carry over this week. Hope we get more number 13 in the house. You know what I mean? Anyways, we'll talk about that and more here tonight on this Week 3 preview. But first, like you said, let's announce the champions of the boards here. Like our sponsor of the week, the chillest of all pills, Chill Pill. She's the greatest on the After Dark session, but she's also the champion. She's the champion the last 2 months over there.
Decided to bring it to the daytime.
Yeah. She got a little representation here for a week on this side of the board. So big shout out to Chill Pill, and also she's the gifting champion, the gifting queen here at MCF. So big shout out to Chill Pill on all our channels. Big shout out. She's really a huge part of this, and a huge shout out to our Cash App King, Jetly44. He was repping the gifting board and the sponsor of the week, but even though he got overtaken by Chill Pill, he overtook the Cash App board. Congrats to him, the king of the Cash App, and Mark Hosepian, all the way from Hawaii, always repping that star for everything. 86 Schoonmaker points for him there. Currently, in the green, in good shape there. And again, our second stream of the week. This one is a Fan Friday. As you guys know, every month we do have a special little thing we get down with here, and that is our monthly raffle. But to get into all that, there's different ways of dropping the love on this channel to try to get in that raffle, winning a sewn and stitched jersey. We'll talk about it in a minute. But first, the people leading this week currently right now, Mark Hosepian is not just the stream boss, but he's also the leader of the overall board right now. And the gifting leader is currently Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical. Big shout out to him on the gifting side. And Oh, I'm sorry, no, Jet Li. I think Jet Li's the one gifting, right? I think he was the gifting leader, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to go back to back. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure it was.
Well,
Jet
this
Li?
past week it was actually Chill Pill.
Oh, the gifting champion. Yes. But the
I don't know if there's anybody on the
Jet
board.
Li is the gifting
Okay.
leader. That's why it was a skeptical fan. It was Jet Li, so he's trying to take over. That'd be like what, 12 out of 15 weeks if he gets that back. So he's currently leading the gifting board. He's currently the leader in the Cash App side by just a couple and that 3 and change, right? So he's trying to take over a little bit here. Marco Seppian got the other 2 boards, the leaderboard, currently the leader this week, and of course the stream boss. So big shout outs to you guys. But there's different ways of dropping the love here, like through the YouTube side. We see here a pre-stream drop by Skeptical Fan, a $2 holler, and he said, "Don't forget to bring your balls, defense." We will talk about the defensive balls here in a minute. And the do's and don'ts that we need this week from our Cowboys against the Ravens. So big shout out to Skeptical Fan and in that side in the super chats. There's also thanks buttons, which by the way, Skeptical Fan also dropped a $2 holler in the thanks side of things after one of our videos posted.
Thank you, Skeptical.
Yeah, huge shout out to Skeptical Fan there, as he's slowly but surely going up the board. I have to fix that as well. So big shout out to, he actually said with his thanks, quote, "Make the Cowboys run game great again." And we actually have some discussion about that tonight here, how we need to run and stop the run. It's
Hey,
both sides
but
of it.
Jerry's happy with our guys.
Yeah, he is. Always happy with his guys. That's all that matters to Jerry. Anyways, we'll get to all that. By the way, big shout outs to everybody who's leading the boards. But then I talked about you can do the super chat, you give the thanks, like Skeptical just showed us, both of those things. But you could also join the membership, and you can also gift memberships. So once you're in the membership, you can gift memberships to various people in the chat out of, it kind of distributed by luck, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Oh, speak about distributing the knowledge and the love. Mark Hosepian with that $2 holler continues to be the leader on the overall board and continues to add points to that stream boss as he goes up to what? That CD, 88 points. There he is. What did the man Mark Hosepian have to say, baby?
He said, "Why is Skeletor and Son such idiots?" Clown show.
Hell yeah, it is a clown show. And I'm gonna make you happy today, Mark. We have a couple of this in the last 3 days. We heard Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones. We just give you the few important things, the 2 or 3 important things they said. We ain't gonna go through their whole fucking bunch of BS.
Keep the clown nose at the ready.
Yeah, you know it. Oh, and you know it. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, not just on After Dark, not just here. He's also part of that Navy Blue crew.
Ooh, thank you.
Yes, I think he just got dropped his membership, right? His membership comment, I think.
Yeah, he's been, not his comment, but yes, he's been his streak.
Yes.
For the last 6 months, he's been part of that Navy Blue crew. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Much
Yeah,
love.
big shout outs to him. I think he was already in the Navy Blue,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so 6 months dominating there. Thank you. And go Cowboys. Even though he's a Rams fan, I understand. And they got some issues. They got a lot of injury. We talked about the injuries earlier this week on the Rams' unfortunate situation. But yeah, here, you know it is. Go Cowboys. So, yeah, baby, as I was saying, there's 4 different ways of dropping it. Super chat, thanks button, jumping in the membership, becoming a member at any of our 4 levels, Navy, Blue, Silver, Star, over everything. And, of course, the gifting memberships, which you can do once you're in the membership. But there's 4 ways. We do it on the After Dark channels. There's 4 ways you can jump into the mix on the Cash App board and the overall leaderboard. How are those 4 ways, baby? Non-YouTube side, so to speak.
You have, of course, the Cash App, money sign MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at my-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, that Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a Super Chat would.
That's right. So a lot of ways to help out the channel here on MCF. And also, it is Fan Friday. So there is a little extra bonus here when it comes to some shout-outs. As we do on the nightly, we do the star level and over everything level shout-outs. But tonight on a Fan Friday, we also do the silver level shout-outs. So, baby, why don't you do them shout-outs?
Oh, thank you very much to Justin Quarles, the Q-Man, Top Dog Bay Bullies, a.k.a. Dwayne Broussard, Mr. A. Lavelle.
Big shout-outs, yes.
Thank you very much, of course, to LC, Skeptical Fan, Jet Li 44, John Luna, and over everything,
Woo!
Chill Pill.
The chillest of pills. Much love to Chill Pill. And everybody in the Navy Blue, Silver, Star, over everything. Thank you all for being part of this thing. By the way, you see the screen here. weekly winners, not just the star level and over everything level. Star level, you get one raffle entry for our monthly jersey raffle. So this is right now currently, of course, for the month of September. We'll be doing that in the beginning of October. Every person with the star entry, a star level, gets one entry. Everybody in the over everything like Chill Pill, she gets 2 entries. And guess what? The weekly winner, the sponsor of the week, Chill Pill was that last week. She gets a bonus entry. If you're a weekly winner throughout the month, one of the winners, and you get, but if you win 2 or 3 times, you get 2 or 3 entries on top of any kind of a star over everything level membership you may have. Now, if you're not in any level membership like we've had before and people have still won, you can still get into this thing, win one of these Sewn and Stitch jerseys, old school Roger Staubach all the way to now. If you wanted Dak Prescott, you wanted Tyler Guyton, we got him. We got some rookies. So a lot of shirts, jerseys to pick from, new and old styles, all different sizes, men, women, kids. So yeah, can't wait to see who our next monthly jersey raffle winner is for the month of September, which we'll do at the beginning of October. So just so everyone knows, I want to make sure everybody's in the mix there. And now let's shout out everybody in the house. We got a nice long intro because we don't really go live every night, and it is Fan Friday to start off with the weekend, and right around the corner is our game.
That's right.
So who's in the house tonight to talk some Cowboy football?
We have Rolando Rodriguez in the house. Hello and hi. Let me see. Eduardo in the house. What's up? Always go Cowboys.
Always.
Unknown Ninja. Much love to you. Dropping that emoji. Cowboys fan 1965. Hi to you as well.
Yeah.
Matt Batten. Long time no see. Glad to have you back.
Yes.
Of course, the man Daniel Berry Sports Highlights.
You know it.
A big mahalo to the stream boss Marco Seppian.
Hell yeah.
GM in the house saying, yo, what's new? Again, a few new updates on our Cowboys for sure. So, you see, of course, skeptical fan always staying skeptical. Frank Moyer, our resident Eagles fan here.
But we love you, bro. We love you. Boo.
It's all good, Mr. A-Town Frank. Kathy Mardis, what's up? Hello.
Kathy in the house. What's up?
Let's see. I'm just trying to roll back.
Frank's probably suffering after that Eagles loss to the Falcons. Yeah.
We have Scorpio representing. Much love.
Scorpio.
Let's see. John Luna. Hello and hi.
Hey, much love to John Luna in the star level.
Let's see. Freedom first. Not first today. Yeah, that's as far back as I can go. Let me come back down. Let me just make sure I don't miss anybody.
I'm pretty sure I saw an MCF After Dark and MCF After Dark 2 popping around. You never know. Might go live tonight. Might go live tomorrow. Definitely Sunday after the game. You go over there for the party and other discussions. But is that we all caught up?
Like I said, as more people hop in, I'll make sure to give them their proper shout outs. But
sounds good.
Let's start getting into the football side of things, baby. So, don't forget, hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But like I said, what's going on in the NFL world?
Yeah. Real quick, just so everybody knows. Let me see. Why is this not working now all of a sudden? All right, I think we're good now. So, I guess not. So, right now, we had a game last night, NFL game, not really involving, our division at all, in any single way at all. So, Jets and Patriots. So, Patriots at the Jets. And, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, healthy and ready to go. 24-3 win over the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers threw 2 touchdown passes in his homecoming performance. I think that was their first home game. The Jets' defense was dominant. Jets rolled to a 24-3 victory against the Patriots in their home opener Thursday night. This is his first game he started since he ruptured his Achilles last year in the third play of the game. 40 years old, of course. Playing his third game in 11 days, by the way. They got the 3 games in 11 days right off the start of the season. And, I think he scrambled in this last game multiple times, threw off-balance throws, looked great for most of the game. Sliced and diced the Patriots defense pretty much the whole night. And, he finished with 281 yards, touchdowns to Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard. And, Jets ended up 2-1 right now, which is where we want to be. They ended an 8-game home losing streak against the Patriots for 8 years. 8 years. They've lost every home game against the Patriots until last night, which, again, with Aaron Rodgers and no Belichick and Brady, that's usually what happens,
problem.
Right? Yeah. So, anyway, just wanted to say that, get everybody caught up on the NFL news side of things. I'm going to talk about some Cowboy news side now. That's it. That's it for the NFL, because we don't care much about that. We care about our Cowboys, but first, we got Marco Seppian dropping another $2 holler.
Ooh,
he gets him up to 90 points, or 89 points in the stream boss, and again, still at the top of the board here.
So he said, what offensive coordinators are available next year? Because, Bill Belichick is a defensive mind.
Right, he's a defensive mind. But that's kind of like the catch to me. It's like, who are the Cowboys planning on, bringing in with Belichick? That's a great question. A lot of good offensive coordinators out there, Mark, I will say. But I just, I'm going to try to fix this here. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
But I'm going to, a lot of good offensive coordinators right now that's floating around. I don't know many of the names here, but...
why don't you just put up a temporary image, close it, and then open it again?
I know. I know. It's not that easy, though. Trust me. So I just have to see me gone for a second. Bye.
Bye, Mr. MC.
You have to hear me. Yeah, you have to hear me.
It's my show now. Mwahaha.
Yeah, but it's not working.
Cassie Stewart, what's up? Hello and hi. Oh, Aaron Rodgers is not a hugger. Not at all skeptical fan. I thought it was kind of rude, personally.
Oop,
but,
you went for a second. There he goes. It's working.
Sideline shenanigans.
Yeah,
not the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that little shove, like he shoved. Again, Aaron Rodgers said he just kind of gave him the body shove because that's what usually the coach kind of does too. Saleh. It looked more like he was kind of upset, but you know what? You know what the reasoning was? Because the Jets coach Saleh there, he said that, hey, we're only up by 2 scores. Like that's his own, like kind of his catchphrase last year and this year. Like, you're only up 2 scores. Basically, so you don't rest on your laurels and think that you got the game won. So as he was coming up the field, Aaron Rodgers, they were just up by 2 scores. So when Saleh came to congratulate him, he shoved him away a little bit. And Aaron Rodgers it's only 2 scores. Almost using the coach's own words against the coach, right? So that's why I know Aaron Rodgers. He just wants to win. He's all about winning. So after the game, they both kind of laughed about it, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was just like an in the game, heated moment type of thing. It wasn't
which is understandable when in football, guys, things get heated, especially quarterback coaching.
Yeah, it's funny because I think McCarthy was asked in some point these last few days, how he feels about emotional outbursts on the sideline by players and stuff, and he's like, I mean, so what? He's like, you have your little outburst on the sideline, and then you get over it and you get back into it or whatever. Like that's basically what happens on the sideline when it comes to those emotional outbursts tends to stay on the sideline, and you get it out and then you get on with it. Wow. So just thought that was kind of funny. Yeah.
I mean, again, that's fine. Aaron Rodgers, he can have any outburst he wants. He's won a Super Bowl. And I guess McCarthy, he's won a Super Bowl too. I guess he can say that too. Now, what about our analytics department, Cowboys?
Right.
We have made strides in the analytics section of things. I'm talking about after we got rid of Mike Nolan. And after we got rid of, every year we got another guy stripped off of another person stripped out of an analytics team, which McCarthy had supposedly built. But it was not built by McCarthy. It was built by the Joneses about 10 years ago. And we've been stripping people away from that and adding new guys. John Park, Malapali, many others in the analytic department, mainly last year. This is the second full season we're going to have them there. Really, last year they started in the end of the offseason is when we really got the whole team together. The Cowboys today were voted as the most improved analytics department, not just for this past year, but for 2 years in a row.
Nice.
And the main reason, according to an AFC staffer, he said, quote, the growth of their team, meaning the analytics team, not our actual football team. And the reason why the Cowboys are picked probably as the most improved, quote, it's Dallas. They have more resources than anybody. It's been cool to see that department finally grow. And again, other teams out there are doing this for years. We're saying here, being cheap. Why?
But now
why are we
we've
cheap,
actually decided to do it. Look how easy and quick it was for us to invest in that and make it happen.
The clown show, though.
Made it happen.
The clown show with all the money, the resources, and they never bothered. Even other teams are like, why did they do this 10 years ago when they had their, their put together, scrappy little shit team that it was Jerry Jones, lackeys basically. So now we actually put in real names in the mix, and it should be helping us. Now I think it helped us last year some towards the middle of the year. This year we'll see. Right now it don't look great, but you remember, even with all the analytics in the world, all the analytics in the world is not going to overthrow the decisions made by these two fucking clowns. Remember that. The analytics department can say, let's go after Dalvin Cook, or not Dalvin Cook, let's go after Derrick Henry. And Jerry Jones say, too expensive, no. You understand, guys? So maybe he fits the best according to the analytics department, but not for Jerry Jones and his wallet. And so that's what I'm saying. Even we can have the best analytics department. They should be helping us not just getting players, but also, in my opinion, week to week, helping us against our opponent. So, and I think we've done a good job there. But again, not just the department. We got the names, we got the brains. Why don't we have the talent on the field and the coaching on the field in sync with that? Big playoff game, and Dan Quinn blows like 12, 13, 14 personnel. 12, 13 personnel. We're in there with one linebacker. You know what I mean? They're running all over us. So that's bad coaching, not bad analytics. So in my mind, I agree that we have a great analytics team of minds, of guys that can, and girls and women that can help us out, but it's up to the front office to be able to spend the money, and if they don't, then it's up to the coaches and the players to produce in the field. So out of 20 voters, the Cowboys had 13 for most improved. The next team was the Tennessee Titans with 3. Then the Bears, the Lions, the Texans, and the Bucks with 1 each. That's it. We basically ran away with it. Again, 13 out of 20 votes we got for most improved analytics department. Clear runaway most improved franchise when it comes to analytics over the last 2 years. The Cowboys have made substantial staffing changes last year when we hired John Parks as our director of strategic football operations from the Colts, probably the biggest name in that field in football. And then we added other people to our analytics team. Kathy Evans, a former vice president of Monumental Sports, which was for the Washington Wizards and the Mystics, is another big name in sports analytics we added this year, along with a pair of strategic football fellows. So again, Cowboys are racking up a lot of analytics people. The question is, if the front office listening? The answer is no. Are the coaches working with what they can get? I mean, they are, but are they, we have to see it in motion. We got to see it in action.
I know, but it seems to some capacity, our offensive and defensive coordinators, respectively, are incorporating some kind of analytics into the decisions they make, including Bones. So
yeah, no, I agree. But
okay,
Rolando Rodriguez is dropping something. Yeah,
sorry, analytics personnel don't know football; they know numbers and game situations.
And I that's why I wanted it read, because I wanted to address that. They do. I'm saying I do understand what you're saying about the football game itself. They might not, be in tune with it as if they played it or anything like that, but they give you the numbers. They give you the tendencies. They give you, what to expect from the defensive line, from the defensive coverage, the linebackers, and they tell that to the offensive team, the coaches, and then it gets down to the players. Same thing on the opposite side. They give you the quarterback's tendencies, the offensive line issues and tendencies, the running backs, receivers, tight ends. And they give that information to the players and coaches that they got to make it work. We have a good team. That's a fact. But it's up to the players and coaches to make it work. In my opinion, I guess. But we'll have to wait and see. Right now, last year, it worked well once we got into that week 6, week 7. But that team got together last year like in July and August. You're supposed to have that team ready before you even do the draft, which is this year, which is what we did. And a little more analytic heavy, I think, draft. And look how much better we drafted, it seems, at least. Right? So anyways, Marco Sepien. He's dropped the biggest drop so far. That 5 on it. The $5 holler. He gets up to... Speaking of rookies, second-round pick, Barshawn Nealon, number 94. 94 points for Marco Sepien. What did the man say?
Mr. MCF, I can't take the BS. It's like saying you're banging a gal who's super hot, analytics, but has the worst BO and breath. Jerry Jones.
Hey, listen.
The clowns.
I'm not saying whether the analytics team is going to win games for us or lose games for us. I agree with you on that. I know what you're saying. It's basically like saying we have the best clothing in the world. The analytics team got us the best clothing that we are allowed to get per Jerry Jones, and we're dressing our players wrong. Like the coaches are not doing a good enough job translating the analytics to the players in those game time situations or in the analytics. The tendencies side of things. What is going on? Right, so if we have one of the best analytics teams in the NFL, we should be doing better on that field. There's something missing there. And it's not just, again, analytics is different than football. I get it, but they're mixing them together. Every team has huge analytics departments. We've had the most improved. But even with the most improved analytics department, guess what? You still got Jerry Jones as a general manager. Clown show. Yep. Exactly what Mr. Marco Seppi said. Clown show. That's why we're here. So, as we're moving on here, guys, now we got that out. That's the positive news. Hey, yeah, we got the positive out the way. Now let's get all negative. So, look, first and foremost, as you guys know, our schedule here around the corner, what it looks like next week at this time right now, on Fan Friday of next week, guess what we'll be doing? Probably not be live. You know why? Because we'll be live the night before. If you guys forgot, I don't know if you guys forgot already, but if you guys remember, our Cowboys played Thursday night. last night was the Jets and the Patriots. And then this upcoming Thursday, we got basically the Cowboys on the road at New York and at the New York Giants. And we're going to be wearing our icy white our color rush uniforms against the Giants. I would not be surprised if the Giants were throwing up their old school uniform. I think they're doing it on Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken, for the old school uniforms of the Giants. Look right underneath that, you see Thanksgiving. And they're putting their old school. We're putting our throwbacks. They're putting their 1920s outfits on. But for this game against the Giants, September 26th, 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central, that game right there is Thursday night. So that's coming literally right around the corner. After this game against the Ravens, we got to turn around and do a quick, it's going to have to be a recap show and a preview show, I guess, because we only have a couple days in between before the Giants play on Thursday night. So just wanted to show you that. You know what? They already released the early odds for that game. And right now, we'll be on the road in New York as a Thursday night game on Prime. Cowboys are currently 7-point favorites. 7-point favorites on the road against the Giants, which makes sense, I guess you can say. We'll see how things happen Thursday night football, but we're a ways away from that. We're getting Sunday afternoon football and our Cowboys. But what happened last week to Sunday early afternoon football? Early afternoon football. What happened? We got our asses handed to us by the Saints. Oh, but first, let me give a big shout out here to Skeptical Fan for gifting a membership tied.
Thank you so much, Skeptical.
Yeah, he is now tied in first place on the gifting side with Jet Lee 44. Who's the lucky winner, baby?
It was Ramon and Emily Jones.
Much love to Ramon and Emily Jones. Thank you, and welcome to the family. Welcome to the membership. You can drop those emojis if you got them. Appreciate you, Skep. I'm going to update that board as well. But I forgot what I was talking about.
So
I guess you did too. So anyways.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but it's okay.
Anyways, I'm going to go back here. Big shout out to Skeptical. I'm going to fix the board here in a minute. But now you're going to be actually touching on something very important here when it comes to this ugly-ass Saints debacle we had last week. It was an embarrassment. It was, something that one of the worst home losses I remember seeing in a while. So what did Emmitt Smith, my favorite player of all time, Emmitt Smith, Deuce, what did he say? He was on, I think, the Hey K. Adams show there on NFL Network, on the Up and Adams show. And he was asked for his thoughts on Mike McCarthy through 2 games of the season. Emmitt discussed the performances in Cleveland and against the Saints, and then expanded a little more. I'll expand. I'll let Emmitt Smith, the great Emmitt Smith, expand. First, let me let the great Mark Hosepian expand. With his 5 on it. $5 hollow. What did the man say?
Thank you, Mark. He said, it's like having the best clothing, but you have Lizzo modeling. What's a good team? We have a couple of gods, but everyone else is okay. We keep losing to good teams.
Yeah, and sometimes not even good teams. You know?
So it doesn't take much, unfortunately, Mark.
I mean, Lizzo modeling the clothes, another good example of what, I know we're not after dark here, but we are definitely not politically correct necessarily. So yeah, I agree. Lizzo modeling beautiful clothing, not what you really want to see, but that's the way it is right now. It feels for this team. Any thoughts on that, baby? Not the Lizzo part.
No, again, Mark's not wrong, right? We do keep, at this point, there is no denying it. We lose to good teams, we lose to bad teams. It is mind-boggling. And like you said, it's the way that we do it. It's one thing if we lost to the Saints after a well-fought, well-earned game. It's another thing for us to basically lay down and, put X, marks a spot on all our weak, squishy points so that they can go ahead and exploit them and crush us into the ground. So, just wanted to throw that out there. But like you said, baby, right before that, and thank you again, Mark. As Mr. MCF updates the board, Emmitt Smith obviously was not too happy about that performance either, and had a few things to say.
I know I'm sure he agreed with Mark Hosepian's assessment. What did he say?
He said, quote, "I'm not sure. Last week was just a debacle. It was just a debacle, period. And we didn't rise up like we should have. And maybe we don't have that talented of a football team to rise up and do what people expect. We do have a few injuries here and there, but bottom line is next man up. And right now, I feel like some of our players, whether it be on the offensive side or even the defensive front, we could be playing with some, what I would call back in the day, play B and play C guys. So McCarthy, he has his work cut out for him. Zimmer has his work cut out for him as well.
Hey, Emmitt Smith is giving it to you rough and raw the way it's supposed to be. And look, he said he always puts it on the players first, although he has kind of changed his opinion recently a little bit on Jerry, a little bit on the GMing stuff. But like all of us, like he's a fan like we are, he's hoping to see changes. And, you know, we see the players in the field kind of making some of the mistakes. Maybe those are the easier guys to blame. Either way, you know, I cannot disagree with him and the debacle, embarrassment, whatever it was. Yeah, injuries, but next man up. You know, offense and defense, and no excuses. That's the way it was in the 90s. Those that were around, you know, there was never an excuse. If someone got hurt, the next guy's up and ready to go. It wasn't like, oh, now we're going to lose. No, it was like, let's go. And again, like Emmett said in his day, play B, play C guys. And you step in and you... McCarthy, is he doing a good enough job? He's got his work cut out to him, according to Emmitt Smith. Mike Zimmer, week 1, the god of defensive coordinators. Week 2, an embarrassment. What are we doing, right? So... this is what Emmett's breaking it down, honestly and truthfully. There, I love his comments, and you know he might not be 100% right, but he's like 95% right. Go Emmett, go Emmett. And by the way, go Mark Hosepian, 100 points, fully loaded on the Stream Boss. Will he keep powering himself up? Beyond that, he dropped another $2 holler. What did the man say?
Or dating a hot gal who's transgender. You hear me?
I think we're better than that. I think we are, because that'd be more like if we were like the Arizona Cardinals, I think. Anyways. I'm just an asshole. Anyways.
I'll make sure Dr. G hears about this.
My brother's going to hear all about this. So, thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. And as always, all over the world, all in Hawaii, go Cowboys. Now, that was Emmitt Smith's breakdown of his assessment of like that Browns game to the Saints game and what's coming next. What did Stephen Jones, babe? Stephen Jones spoke. And I mean, he spoke a lot of bullshit. Hey, Mark, I'm gonna make you happy. We're not talking about any of that bullshit from Stephen Jones. But old clown show himself, one of the clown show ringmasters here, Stephen Jones, he was asked today on 105 Through the Fan about the large number of Saints fans that attended our game last Sunday at AT&T Stadium. Remember, it goes back to when the Niners had half the stadium red, and then, you know, we had the Packers last year at the playoff game, half the stadium green. All of a sudden, we get half the stadium, they're freaking black and gold over there. So why are there a lot, you know, basically he was asked about the large number of Saints fans attending the Cowboys home game, and he gave a similar expectation, he said, to expect the same thing this Sunday against the Ravens, which means a lot of Raven fans in Dallas. Baby, what is Stephen Jones? Why are we seeing all these other fans just infiltrate our home stadium?
So Stephen said, quote, well, it happens. You don't love it, but I also understand people don't get here very often. We haven't played the Saints here a lot in this building. Of course, it's an easy ride for a lot of Saints fans that we are right across the way in Louisiana, so we know on occasion that's going to happen. Obviously, we prefer to have everybody sitting in that stadium be a Cowboy fan. We're certainly the beneficiary of that on the road most of the time, in terms of having large percentage of Cowboy fans in opposing team's stadium. Understand it. Every now and then, you're going to have these teams that haven't been to AT&T Stadium much, and they want to experience North Texas and what AT&T Stadium is about. If we had our preference, honestly, no. I'd like 100% of them to be Cowboy fans, but I also know that can be unrealistic.
That could be what?
Unrealistic?
I'm going to translate that whole thing for you in one sentence. You know what he really said? I don't really give a shit. Nothing really bothers me as long as tickets are sold. That's what Stephen Jones is saying. We got fans nearby in Louisiana. We got fans in Texas, in Houston. We got fans all over in Arizona. We got fans all over Mexico, all over the world. But sometimes these teams, they close by. We see them once in a blue moon in Dallas, so they make I understand that part, but the real answer is, and he almost slipped up. He's like, I kind of want to see. Let me think about it. No, I want to make sure we see Cowboy fans there. Like, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with these people? They literally, I mean, you can't say it anymore. These people do not care. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones do not care about winning a Super Bowl. They care about putting people's asses in the seats, and they could be from the other team. That's fine with them in their minds. Incredible. You know what else is incredible? Man, Mark Hofsep being currently the top of the board in the leaderboard right there in front of Calvin Richard and Jet Li and Skeptical. What did Mark say with his newly dropped $5 holla?
Thank you, Mark. He said, on defense, we have 2 cornerbacks in Parsons that would start on most teams. And Tank, who's solid again. But
aging.
Aging. There we go. Got it. And on offense, we have 1 wide receiver, a tight end, 2 offensive linemen, and Dak. Everyone else is a body.
I mean, we're not a great team. We knew, hey, Mark, we knew when Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones going to back them up, said we're all in this year, and we did nothing. We knew this was the case. We knew that bodies were going to step up, and some will. I guarantee you, Mark, some of those bodies you mentioned that are unmentioned, but the bodies you said on offense and defense, some of them will surprise you. Some of them will show up, and some won't. And that's going to be the make or break where we said we're going to be like a 7-win team, a 9-10-win team, or more. Well, it depends how these step-up guys do, and if they become guys that are kind of feared or good, or are they just a body? And that's the question this year, Mark. You're 100% right. We don't have a very good team. So, anyways, that was the end of... Well, let me do that. That was the end of what... Stephen Jones has a couple other things later on, but I just want to give you his one basic quote. Now, let me go to McCarthy for a second here, because this is interesting. Mike McCarthy, after this embarrassing game against the Saints... Yeah. He actually got together with the core of his team. I'll explain in a minute. But, in that game against the Saints, you guys remember, I don't know if you remember, after scoring a touchdown against the Cowboys, Saints quarterback Derek Carr performed a Michael Jackson, kind of ball grab. He kind of went, hee-hee, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The crotch grab. The league fined him $14,000 for that. Yeah, Derek Carr.
Would you find the great Michael Jackson? No, you would not.
So, again, this loss that we had, along with the last loss we had, which if you remember was against the Packers last year in the playoffs, we're the first team since the 1970 merger to allow 44 or more points in consecutive home games. And that means they're including the playoffs here. Playoffs we allowed over 44 points, or this game we allowed 44 points. So no team has ever done that at home back-to-back. Ever. So we had one 44-plus point loss in the playoffs at home against the Packers with Dan Quinn's defense. And then the first game at home with the new defense, Zimmer, and defensive coordinator, we lost by 44 points. So, what the fuck? So anyways, guys, obviously the Green Bay game last year, playoffs, and this loss to New Orleans are the 2 games. But I do want to say one other thing, which is kind of disturbing. If the Cowboys lose to the Ravens on Sunday, we would fall to 1-2 for the season. Throughout our franchise history, the Cowboys have been through we've been 1-2 after 3 games 12 times in our history. In those 12 times, going 1-2, starting off 1-2, in those 12 times, we only made the playoffs 4 times. Only 4 times. And the last time an NFL playoff field did not feature a team who started 1-2 was all the way back in 2010. The point is, somebody who started 1-2 this year, someone in this league is going to make the playoffs at 1-2. Haven't had anybody miss it at 1-2 since 2010. So obviously it's going to happen. Is it going to be us? First of all, how about we don't lose? By the way, I wanted to add,
I think we can start there.
I want to also add in there, when you look at the 1-2 starts, one of those 12 starts, we, of course, 4 times we made the playoffs. One of those times we won the Super Bowl. I remember that because we were 0-2 without Emmitt Smith after we won the Super Bowl, the first of the 3 in the 90s. That second year, we were 0-2 after we lost to the Washington Redskins at the time and the Bills. And then we got Emmitt signed, and we didn't really look back too much after that. We lost the Thanksgiving against the Dolphins in the snow. That was horrible with that Leon Lett play. But we got a Super Bowl ring after that. That team was special. Those days, the 90s dynasty team, obviously special. But we don't have that kind of team now. So 1-2 for us could spell big shit trouble for us. So we got to win this game against the Ravens to have a a much better chance of making the playoffs by the analytics and statistics. Now, like I said this, McCarthy met with the 10-player leadership council. There's 10 players that have been picked by the team, by the players themselves, the peers, and they put, they're the leadership council that kind of talks to the coach and talks to the players, the guys in between. Guys like Dak and guys like DeMarcus Lawrence and guys like Zach Martin, they're all involved in this leadership council. According to McCarthy, it was not a panic move. But some players did respond strongly, is the word, behind the scenes. They were upset. Some of these leadership guys were upset as we prepare for this Week 3 game against Baltimore. Now, I know some people spoke. Some of the players spoke. But CeeDee Lamb, he did speak. But before we get to an actual quote, let me give you a kind of a wrap-up of what he said. Let me get Mike McCarthy out the way for a second. Because CeeDee Lamb kind of said something I thought was important. This week, guys, again, Wednesday, he was on the injury report with Trayvon Diggs. But that's not what I want to talk about. It's about the Saints game. Remember that touchdown that we had for CeeDee Lamb from Dak Prescott, and it looked like it was miscommunication?
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb said CeeDee Lamb said he took full blame for the misconnection with Dak Prescott on that play. It was on him. He misinterpreted the route. Dak threw it to the right place. CeeDee Lamb was in the wrong spot. So he missed the adjustment. He said those are the things you can iron out in training camp, but basically he's having his camp now. That's kind of what he's saying. So
I got you.
So what else did CeeDee Lamb speak on? That's very important, I think. So we know the miscommunication. It was on CeeDee Lamb much more than it was on Dak Prescott on that missed touchdown play.
He really just touched on two things. One, exactly what you just said. As far as reestablishing our dominance at home, he said we lost 2 games at home in how many years? We'll be perfectly fine.
I hope so.
At least for CeeDee, this is just one of those things that we need to get past. The only other thing that he mentioned was his ankle. Said his ankle's good, that he was just feeling a little bit sore on Wednesday, so he just took the day off.
Remember,
Nothing
guys,
concerning.
I know we didn't see you guys on Wednesday or Thursday, but Wednesday and Thursday, CeeDee Lamb with an ankle injury was on the injury report, did not practice that first day on Wednesday. Same thing with Trayvon Diggs, who had a foot injury as well. But this was before today. There was no concern about CeeDee Lamb's ankle or Trayvon Diggs' foot regarding their availability. Practice is one thing, but their availability to play on Sunday, no issues at all after they sat out Wednesday's practice. So I just want to make sure we go back to Wednesday's practice. That's CeeDee Lamb, kind of confirming himself, but also we know now for sure he is good to go. He will play this game. I wanted to quickly actually speak about the running game situation, which is, it's not Zeke. It's really Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook, guys, was kind of no quotes on him. He didn't really speak to the media, but Calvin Watkins or one of those guys, they spoke to Dalvin Cook kind of behind the scenes about the running game. When is he coming back? He's still on the practice squad. And Dalvin Cook said he is ready to go. No, that's not Zeke. He's ready to go. Dalvin Cook is good to go. He says he's good with the offense. He understands it. He's been doing his thing with the scouting team right now, but he said he believes he can definitely help the Cowboys. He's just keeping his mouth shut right now and biding his time. He said the Cowboys have told him nothing. But we know we did hear from Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones about Dalvin Cook. He ain't playing this week either. But we'll get to that in a minute. Dalvin Cook, he said he's ready. Dalvin Cook said he knows the offense. Dalvin Cook said he can help the Cowboys. And we're going to roll with Zeke, Rico, and Deuce Vaughn. That's the plan this week once again at home against the Ravens. But I have a feeling people say, let's just trade Dalvin Cook. He'll get his chance to play with the Cowboys, in my opinion, before he gets any kind of trades done to him. But at the same time, we're still waiting for Dalvin Cook. He is also kind of upset. Dalvin Cook, low-key upset, keeping his mouth shut, and just hoping he gets put in the game sooner than later. So I just want to give you a little behind the scenes. I know Dak Prescott also spoke.
Yes. I did want to take a second, though, because Unknown Ninja cracking me up in the chat saying, let Dalvin cook.
Yeah, let him cook with Brandon Cooks. Let Brandon Cooks and Dalvin cook. I get you. I know. Trust me. The Cowboys haven't started Dalvining some cook yet. Not yet.
So, now real quick, like you said, Dak Prescott.
Yes.
A quick little blurb here. So he did obviously speak saying, we've just got to go out there and play our best. It's week 3. It's about a process. We can't get overwhelmed in what people are writing about us. It's simply a process that we've got to focus on getting better each and every day with the right attitude that we come in here and understand that we're trying to put the best versions of ourselves on the field each and every Sunday, regardless of what happened the last Sunday. It's the NFL. So, Dak, again, I guess, partially agreeing with CeeDee Lamb there. But for the most part, I mean, Dak obviously just thinks that it's something we have to get over. I mean, obviously, I'm just saying, like, well, no offense, but what other kind of comments did we expect from Dak, our franchise quarterback? He's absolutely going to toe the party line when it comes to whatever the team message is going to be. So,
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw that out there. But still, thought that it was important to hear from Dak directly in that regard.
And, we had some other, I think a couple other players spoke too.
Yeah, just one little comment here from Micah, and that's it, at least on my side of things as far as player commentary. But Micah said, quote, "To have back-to-back embarrassing losses at home, I get the fan frustration, but I don't think that there's anyone more frustrated than me. I'm a competitor. I feel like I'm a warrior. I battle like everyone else battles, but at the end of the day, it's all about wanting it more. To me, not having everyone wanting it as bad as you do, that kind of hurts the most. If you're willing to take a beating like that, that says a lot." So, after that, Micah was asked, is it harder to move on after a loss like this versus a more regular loss, so to speak, basically? McCarthy said, Micah, wrong M, but Micah Parsons, and thank you, big mahalo to Marco Seppian. That's what I'm saying. We got a lot of M's. We got Mark, we got McCarthy, we got Micah.
We'll get to Mark in a minute here, but what did Micah Parsons say what was he asked?
Yeah, like I said, so, is it tough to move on after a loss like that? Micah said, "I think I'll find it tougher if people don't step up. To me, it's like a prove-it weekend. I'm not putting anything on any of my teammates. I'm saying myself included, I need to step up. We all need to step up. It would hurt me more if we all didn't step up and then we all played down to that standard again, because that just tells me we're not moving in the direction we should be moving."
He wants to be the Terminator. You see number 11 coming for any Raven. But, number one, he needs help from other players. Number two, he needs the scheme to work better from Simmer. And number three, he himself needs to play better. And that's, can't really ask for more than that from a competitor and a superstar like Micah Parsons. Now, we do have a superstar here named Marco Seppian who dropped that 5 on it. What did he say? What knowledge did he drop?
"I'd be mad. He can't beat those 3? That's pathetic. Why sign a guy who can't beat those 3 clowns? Another Jerry Jones move of wisdom. Let him play. What can we lose?"
Listen, I agree with Marco Seppi. I thought this week we'd have him. I thought by now we'd have Dalvin Cook on that field and getting some rotational snaps in there. Because we definitely, you tell me he's not better than Deuce Vaughn? You tell me he's not better than Ezekiel Elliott? He's got to be. He's got to at least be in the same range. You got to give him a chance.
Yeah.
And after you give him a chance and you trade whoever is the worst. I don't know what to say. But it is another typical clown show move. And speaking of, get ready because Mark's going to love this. Were you guys with us here on Tuesday? I know Mark was. Let me say something about the infinite wisdom of Jerry and Steven. They signed a guy named Jordan Phillips, number 98, defensive tackle, a guy that I actually liked a couple years ago when he was still top of his game. I mean, run stopper and pass rusher. But he is now, as I said, what did I say on Tuesday? He is our Dontari Poe, number 98, Jordan Phillips. The next day, that was Tuesday, on Wednesday, I pat myself in the back because I said we got to get rid of this guy. The Cowboys decided not to cut him because they already paid for him, so to speak. The Cowboys are placing defensive tackle Jordan Phillips on the injured reserve list with a wrist injury, which we never heard about, this wrist injury. And, he's going to miss, on the injured reserve, you miss at least 4 games. Now, remember, guys, I want to make sure we all remember, the Cowboys acquired Jordan Phillips. I went into detail about this. We acquired him during training camp. In the trade with the Giants, he was the third-string defensive tackle and was superseded by an undrafted rookie or second-year guy and a guy who played like 10 games in his career. And this guy, Jordan Phillips, who was a great player, 3-4 years ago, has lost it that badly that he was the third guy who was going to be cut. We traded for him. Gave up a 6th-rounder. Went back about 30 spots. Gave up a 6th-rounder. We're getting the Giants' 7th-rounder. But he only has 1 tackle and 2 quarterback pressures in 2 games. That's all we got from him.
I didn't know if I could
No, I'm still going. Because the crazy thing is this, okay? He has a wrist injury, according to the Cowboys. If you remember, guys, last season with Buffalo, he also had wrist surgery last year.
Okay. So far, it all tracks.
Yeah, but McCarthy said his Wednesday McCarthy spoke about this in his Wednesday press conference, and we got a little more update on this here. So first and foremost, now we're missing that. So now we're missing Jordan Phillips, one of the top 4 guys. It was supposed to be him and Linville Joseph, along with Mozzie and Osub, our 4 rotational into 2 defensive tackle rotation with 4 guys. Now we're missing one of them, right? The Cowboys now have defensive tackle Phil Hoskins, 6'5", 315, on the practice squad, along with the guy from the Bahamas, that's an international exemption, Denzel Daxon, 6'2", 304. So the Cowboys could technically call one of them up for a practice squad, from the practice squad, to elevate them for the game on Sunday, because we're kind of short right there. But to me, the move of taking Jordan Phillips away is addition by subtraction. Because the Cowboys didn't want to let him go because we kind of paid for him in the sense of draft picks. Since he got a little injury on his wrist, you put him on 4 weeks. You got a chance for 4 weeks to take a breather and see what you're going to do with the rest of your guys. Or will he be able to do better when he comes back? I don't know. But to me, it would have been a good idea for the Cowboys to bring a big body to be the backup into town. And we did not do it. You know who I wanted to bring back in here? Justin Rogers. The rookie. 7th-round pick. I thought he was a guy that can really lock up the inside. And he's just out there roaming around. The Cowboys drafted him, did not sign him. So I'll explain who we signed in a minute. But Jordan Phillips said he actually was asked after the, again, not a big interview. And it's kind of on the corner of the locker room was asked.
Blurb.
Well, it was in the corner of the locker. He was not like interviewed by people. It's like somebody snuck in and asked him a question. And basically he was asked, what's going on with you going on injury reserve and your wrist? He said that he's going on injury reserve, but there is nothing wrong with his wrist. He said his wrist is fine. He said it is what it is, but he has to accept the decision of the organization. He said, quote, I don't know. That's above my pay grade. You have to ask the people making the decisions. Right there. Those are the guys making decisions. So I'm going to give you a little insight, though. Jordan Phillips, whether he's playing good or bad, he is frustrated in the locker room. You can see it. You can hear it when he spoke. And he said, his wrist is fine. Why the Cowboys putting him on the injured list with a wrist issue? It's this clown show again. And don't be surprised if for some reason they find out he files a grievance with because again, he's not being allowed to show what he can do or not do. But he's not being allowed to do that for 4 weeks. So that means that, it hinders his money in a way, right? If he's put in injury reserve and he can't show what he can do and he's healthy enough to play. If the NFLPA sees something wrong with this, they can file a grievance. We might lose a draft pick. The clown show is just getting started, guys. We may lose a draft pick if things get bad. If this is a real, secret move, the Cowboys try to sneak this guy through our injury report or whatever, on IR. If that is found out that, nothing's wrong with him and we put him on there, the Cowboys will lose, get fined. We might lose a draft pick. I hope the Joneses know what the fuck they're doing. But I know Marco Seppi knows what we're doing. He just dropped that $5 on it. Another $5 holler. What did the man say? Take this damn clown show off the screen. What did he have to say? What did Mark have to say?
Only 7th, but we got a guy who's old and a bad hand.
Yeah.
Where is the let me see. I don't know what the PIC means. Sorry. Where is the PIC, Mr. MCF? Effing clown show. And now we've got Watkins? I've said it. 4 years, worst defensive tackles.
I mean, I'd say we're definitely up the top of the list of some of the worst defensive tackles. Jonathan Hankins helped us. And in a big way. You know, we'll see if Linville Joseph helps us in some ways. We know Jordan Phillips didn't. We know Dontari Poe didn't. We know Gerald McCoy couldn't. So all these moves we've done in the last 4 or 5 years are failures from the clown show. And why is that? It's not even the coaching. It's the front office. They never want to invest money in two places. Safety, which they still haven't, and defensive tackle, which they barely have. If anything, just a draft pick, I guess, with Mozzie. But either way, guys, yeah. Basically right now, one of those two guys, you know, Linville Joseph, one of them, that's also hanging on, but Jordan Phillips gone. So now he doesn't know why he's on the injured list.
Picture. There we go. Where is the picture, Mr. MCF?
The picture of who?
No, because he said, okay, so he said only a 7th, but we got a guy who's old and a bad hand. Where is the picture, Mr. MCF? I think the clown show picture is what he meant. Effing clown show.
Boom, there
now we got Watkins.
Yeah.
So there we go. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mark. Again, sometimes I have my blow moments.
But another name he said was Carlos Watkins.
Yeah.
Clown Show said, let's bring back one of our old superstars. Carlos Watkins, the fucking superstar. So Carlos Watkins was signed to our active roster as the replacement for Jordan Phillips. I would have taken Justin Rogers, the rookie, and brought him back on this team. Instead, we got an old face back here, Carlos Watkins. Remember, guys, you know where he was? He was a Dan Quinn in the Commanders. He was on the practice squad. We just got a practice squad guy onto our 53-man roster. A guy that we've had before who was not able to hack it. A guy that obviously been all over the league. A guy who went to Washington because he knows his, the coach there. And Carlos Watkins is back with Dallas now. We poached him off the Commanders' practice squad and put him right on our 53-man roster. So now he's basically replacing number 98. Carlos Watkins now is going to be wearing number 92, the old Dorrance Armstrong jersey. In case you guys see 92, it's Carlos Watkins. So, now Watkins, I'm going to say this. He had his best stats with the Cowboys in his career in 2021. That was his best year with the Cowboys. He had, 21 tackles that year and 16 run stops. That's it. So, again, not his best year was 21 tackles and 16 stops in 2021. That's who we added to our team. And then if you keep looking deeper, you look at this, how did he do in 2022? Carlos Watkins, he had 9 pressures with the Cowboys, and he did have a couple of good plays and a couple of good games during the 2022 playoff run when we lost in San Francisco. But we beat Tampa the first game. Carlos Watkins was not bad towards the end of the season into the playoffs. But he is a player that's familiar with the scheme, I guess, and the players around him. And really, that's all the Cowboys are doing. That's another clown fucking show move. A guy that we know that knows some of the players. And I say scheme, it's funny. I don't think he knows a scheme. He knows the players and the team. He don't really know the scheme of Zimmer. So hopefully Zimmer can get him right in there. But at least he's a guy that knows the organization, I guess. Carlos Watkins is trash. He should be on the practice squad. Is what he should be.
What do you think about Seabass's comment who said, "Bring back player performance improvement lists. If you don't do your job, you get benched to the list for an undisclosed amount of time.
I would love to,
regardless of pay."
That's the problem. That's the key words, though. It is all about the pay, and whether it's fair or not. The owners are paying these players the money, and so the owners want to see the players on the field, even if they suck in it, even if the performance shows bad. The last thing they want to do is some analytical thing that takes their highest paid players off this field and makes the owners and the GM looks like idiots.
Yeah, Meatball Ron said, at least y'all ain't pay a defensive end who's out there doing cardio only.
I mean,
not sure who that's referencing as far as another team who did do that. Meatball Ron, but yes, at least we can be happy for these small joys.
Yeah, just running around doing nothing. But look, the point is, Carlos Watkins is just he was poached off the practice squad. That is all he is a practice squad player. But he's on our 53-man roster now, so we'll see how that works. And he's going to be involved in that 4-man rotation now. I'm assuming number 92, Carlos Watkins. He definitely is not a difference maker. But I am going to say one thing about Carl. I don't like this at all. It's a clown show move. He had 27 appearances. That was his best. That was his best 2 years there. 2021, 2022. He had 27 appearances in those 2 years, but appearances, not starts. And he cannot be worse, really, than what we had with Jordan Phillips. I mean, Jordan Phillips getting pushed back 5 yards, so I guess it's an improvement, but. it's not really an improvement, guys. We're basically stuck in this same similar spot. Carlos Watkins wearing number 92 back with the Cowboys to replace Jordan Phillips. I want to throw that out there.
Meatball Ron. So he was talking about the Eagles, how they paid Bryce Huff a ton of money, and he's just MIA.
Yeah, and I love to see that happen to the Eagles. But yeah, I mean, we want to see, saying when you pay a guy, you want to see him in the game. You want to see him there getting statistics, being productive. The Cowboys have got a lot of low level players. They're not paying any of these guys a lot of money, except for our own guys we drafted like Dak and CD. But the other guys from other teams, we don't pay nothing to them. So I guess if they do bad, Jerry Jones could say, well, he wasn't that much. When you pay a guy a lot of money like you do in Philly with one of their edge rushers to replace their edge rusher they lost, Haskins, then it's a bust. It's a major mistake. So the Joneses play on the conservative side of the game there. Now, I'm going to say this. The 2 days that we had of Wednesday and Thursday practice, really quickly, what we saw in Frisco were busy 2 days. And I'll explain in a minute because first we got Marco Sapien with another 1-2. J. Lou.
Woo.
Dollar Holla. Hit me with it. What did he say?
The defensive tackles are like having male porn stars with turtles.
No, that one gets no comment from me. That was just too much. That's an after dark comment, Marco Sapien. I haven't seen him over there, but maybe
big mahalo, Mark. Yeah, I think you'd enjoy
he'd have some fun on the after dark for sure. And it gets crazy over there, Mark. Trust me. But if you just want to talk football, then you're in the right spot. But male porn stars with turtles. We're in a whole different. We're in the MCF, MyCowboysFamily after dark session. It looks like. Big shout out to you, Mark. He's fully loaded and in first place on our board. Now, just really quick. This is real quickly. The practice day that we had on Wednesday and Thursday. Very busy 2 days. Really 3 days. We had a walk through today, so no real practice. Busy day though on Wednesday. Jake Ferguson back in practice. Deron Bland on the field doing the rehab work. So he's getting ready. He's eking back on the field. Now, here's the issue, guys. Mozzie Smith walked off the field on Wednesday with an issue with a trainer. So, had a back issue. We'll talk about that in a minute. Carlos Watkins, like I said, he was right back on the field. Wearing number 92. And, of course, we know Jordan Phillips went to IR. Another guy, I want to expand. Jake Ferguson returned to practice. He did everything during the open practice that was available to the media. And it looks like everything, according to the Wednesday and Thursday kind of murmurs, he's going to be ready for this Baltimore game. I'll give you the final information in a minute. Now, also good news, Deron Bland, like I said, on the cords after the surgery in August on his foot. He's out there ready, rehab cords. That's a good direction for him. Mozzie Smith, that's the bad one there. What happened to Mozzie? Now, Mozzie was taken off the field. You saw him walk off the field technically. And, people, obviously we don't have Jordan Phillips. We got new Carlos Watkins. It's already a weak position. Now we lose. What happened to Mozzie, right? He left the practice with head athletic trainer Dr. Jim Maurer. And this comes after the Cowboys had to put Jordan Phillips out there, right? So that's now we're losing 2 out of our 4 guys in the rotation of the 2 spots. Obviously something to watch and monitor into the Thursday practice, which... no Mozzie Smith on Thursday. 2 days, no Mozzie with the back. By the way, Tyrus Wheat, who did miss practice, was back. So that's an edge rusher, at least the last string edge rusher we have. He was at least back. He did miss the first practice. CeeDee Lamb with the ankle. Trayvon Diggs. They were back to limited on Thursday after missing practice on Wednesday. Trayvon stretched in pads, then took them off and worked with the rehab guy, Britt Brown. While CeeDee Lamb was good to go, pretty much worked the whole time. That was good news there. So, and the other spot is tight end. John Stevens Jr. had a hamstring. He returned to practice for the first time since training camp. And preps for probably his NFL debut, which we need another tight end in there. So John Stevens missed the first 2 weeks with the hamstring. Was limited. Last week didn't practice. This week was limited, but was active again 2 days in a row. Wednesday and Thursday. Great news for John Stevens. That was a Thursday practice. And like I said, guys, today was a walkthrough practice. Means very little. Now, the final kind of information came out on our players for the injury list here. And let's start off with the names that we know. So CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee Lamb was in full practice today, 100% good to go for the game.
That's great.
So again, guys, in case you didn't know, now you know. Now, what about the other guy? His guy on the other side of the that covers him sometimes. Trayvon Diggs, he was out with the foot injury, right? He was limited yesterday. Today, full practice, no game status. That means he's 100% to go. So CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, like we said, like we kind of told you guys, looking good. They're both full go. Also, this is a big one here. Jake Ferguson, baby. Guess what? Jake Ferguson was limited all week, but today he was full practice in the walkthrough. No game status. He is full go. Again, things can change tomorrow. You never know. But right now, it's a full go for Jake Ferguson. That's great news right there. All three guys I just mentioned were full participants in practice, and they all are good to go for the game. So that is fantastic news. Now, what about Mazi Smith? He's the guy. He's a starter inside, right? Him, and then you got number 83. Remember, he missed that block that would have got us a touchdown. Jalen Brooks, receiver. Man, I really have high hopes for him, and he has good blocker. But man, he blew that block. Jalen Brooks and Mazi Smith today were both limited in practice. And the thing with Jalen Brooks, he has an ankle issue. He was limited for the last 2 days in practice. Mazi all week with his back issue did not practice the first 2 days. He was limited today, Mazi Smith. And then you throw in there John Stevens, who was limited all week. This week, all three guys I just mentioned are all questionable. So Jalen Brooks, receiver, questionable. John Stevens, tight end, the hamstring, questionable. Mazi Smith, limited in practice today with the back issue, questionable for the game. Just so you guys know, those are the only three guys whose statuses are in doubt. John Stevens, a tight end. Mazi Smith, the defensive tackle. And John Stevens, the tight end. So at least that's good news that they all are seemingly have a chance to play. Every single one of these guys. What did Mike McCarthy say about Mazi Smith? He said this about his back. Quote, he's looking good. He took a step in the right direction. So great news for Mazi Smith. Also, Stephen Jones talked.
Thank goodness.
Stephen Jones spoke about Mazi Smith. He said about the back issue, who was, again, listed as question. This is after this came out today, the questionable report, for him. Stephen Jones said this about Mazi for the game against the Ravens on Sunday. Quote, Mazi was out there today. He looked good, and I think he's going to be ready to roll on Sunday. So if you want me to, again, I'm not going to make the bets or think, I can't tell you if he's going to be playing or not, but I'm telling you this, guys. Mazi Smith, according to Mike McCarthy, according to Stephen Jones, will be playing this game. Maybe he won't play a full game. He'll have a limited, pitch count. Even though he's limited all week, limited his last day, he didn't practice all week, and even though he's listed as questionable, it sounds like he's good to go. So all signs point to good, unless tomorrow is a little bit of a, in the walkthrough tomorrow. If there's a backtrack or some kind of, a step back he takes, then of course he may miss the game. But right now, it looks like it's all systems go eventually for Sunday for Mazi, which we need on the defensive line.
Yeah.
I think the most,
and speaking of, Brandon J, thank you very
Oh,
much
yeah.
for that $5.
Brandon J dropped that 5 on it. Took Mark 5 points down to 95 on the stream, boss. What did Brandon J have to say?
Youngest NFL players. Jets running back Braylon Allen tops list for 2024.
Very interesting. Did not know that.
So, hey, time only marches in one direction, and every year there's new guys just waiting to take your spot.
Yeah, gotta be careful, man. Young guys are coming, and Braylon Allen's good. Now, hit up the comments real quick here, baby, because I did want to hit up another couple of injuries you may have here, and just get you. Mazi, good chance he'll play. Still might not, but there's a good chance he'll play. I'll explain a couple other things in a minute. Who else spoke real quick? A couple of comments in there.
Yeah, Scorpio said, buying generic Dollar Tree items, expecting to have inferior quality to the real deal, but this is the Joneses family plan.
Yeah, that's their pillars of success. No joke.
So, let me see. Revelation Journalist, what's up? So he said, with the Joneses, it's not about playing the game, but all about the game, playing their NFL franchise.
That's all they want. They want to be known. They want to be famous. They want to be, the reason why the NFL changes things. Instead of winning Super Bowls. Too long.
All good. So, let me see. Unknown Ninja said, I'm afraid that Jerry would get his head put in a jar like Futurama and would rule Dallas forever. Absolutely. You know, again,
You do have that. His name is Stephen
We made a
Jones.
lot of jokes about what we'd be willing to do for, a Jerry's jar in a tub of blue liquid. So
His head, you mean, in a tub of blue, a jar. Yeah.
Oh, Jerry's head in a jar.
Yeah,
is what
okay.
I meant to
I
say.
see Jerry's
There we go.
jar
I forgot to mention the fact that it was his
the
head.
head in there is a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
for
not the whole Jerry in a jar. So let me see. Let me see. Meatball Ron said, okay, no, I read that comment already.
So
Seabass said, yeah, Zimmer definitely soft benching Mozzie and Phillips. They ain't not injured. They're faking, and their performance got them there.
I don't think they're faking it. I know Phillips.
Yeah, at least on Mozzie's side of things, I agree. I don't think Phillips is faking it. I think that the front office is taking advantage of the types of things that you can do to get a player off of your team without necessarily cutting them.
Or at least opening a spot. They're probably going to look at Carlos Watkins can do better than Jordan Phillips. Then Jordan Phillips is gone after 4 weeks or earlier. That's why they're doing it now. Is that legal? We'll see. We'll see what happens, because I hope the Cowboys are doing it right. But I don't have a problem with playing the game and getting these guys moved around. I have a problem with the way the Cowboys try to improve their team. They keep adding it. We lost Jordan Phillips, so it was supposed to be an improvement, and then we get Carlos Watkins to take his spot. We're going backwards. Mm-hmm. Anyways, where are we not going backwards? Well, I'm gonna be right up front about this injury wise. We're going forward with the injuries. Mozzie Smith looks good to go. Now we know about the issue with Jake Ferguson all week long. Mike McCarthy today about Jake Ferguson's knee said this, quote, Jake looked good today. I'd put him at a full practice participation assessment.
Nice.
So it looks like by multiple people here, multiple different sources. And I'm talking about Mike McCarthy, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. Ferguson is going to return against the Ravens after missing last week's game against the Saints. Remember how that Cleveland game we thought he was gone for the year?
Yeah.
Possibly. He missed one game. All right, the Saints game. It wasn't going to make or break us, 44-19, trust me. But it looks good news for Ferguson. He will be back after this practice day. We saw him. He's going to be back, it looks like. What about Jerry Jones talking about guys like Trayvon Diggs? Jerry Jones said confidence is high that Trayvon Diggs will be playing. We knew that probably is going to happen because of the injury report. He is cleared. What about CeeDee Lamb? Jerry Jones said confidence very high with CeeDee Lamb able to play this game against the Ravens. Now, Jerry Jones said, I will say this about Jerry Jones. He snuck in another comment there about Jordan Phillips. They asked, this is unprompted, by the way. They didn't say, hey, by the way, Jerry, what happened to Jordan Phillips? He wasn't injured. You put him on the IR. Jerry Jones is the one that opened up this topic. He said, basically, defending the Cowboys' position of the decision to place defensive tackle Jordan Phillips on the IR after he, kind of stirred some controversy about saying he was not really injured. Jerry Jones said, quote, he, as in Jordan Phillips, in my mind, is favoring his wrist. That is a fact. He is a good player, and I hope we can take advantage of him moving forward. What does that mean? That means that Jerry Jones literally said, in my mind, Jordan Phillips is favoring his wrist. That's a fact. That's a quote.
Is that Jerry's cover your ass?
That's his cover the ass, yes.
So, and again, for any of you guys who maybe don't 100% know, Jordan Phillips came out and basically said, my wrist is fine, after we put him on that list.
On the injured reserve list, and he's out for officially 4 weeks, which he don't like that. He feels his wrist is fine.
With the wrist injury. So, obviously, the thing is that when you have a player making such a blatant comment like that, absolutely catches NFL attention, and the Cowboys could get in trouble for
if it was a
putting
fake injury.
A player who is not hurt on IR.
Again, it was not asked of him. He brought this up because he knows there's talk about possible misdoings here. So Jerry Jones wanted to come up with the excuse in front of the controversy, so to speak. You know what I mean? So there's that situation with Jordan Phillips. Not looking good for Jordan Phillips. But listen, if he's on his hand a lot, which he is on his wrist, right? Putting pressure when you're in a 3-point stance, there's a good chance you could probably see him maybe suffering a little bit, maybe having an issue, and they figure he's favoring his wrist. It's probably better we just, we just Put him on IR rather than cut him because we don't want to look like idiots. That's what the Cowboys are doing with this. So you could probably make an excuse to say, yes, he's got enough of an issue we see, but that's why he's on IR. But he said he feels fine. He says he don't know why. It's above his pay grade. You got to ask people that make the decisions. And that's this guy right here. And that was his decision. Now, what about Dalvin Cook? Remember, Dalvin Cook's getting frustrated. On Wednesday, we know he's frustrated. He's ready to play. He knows the system. What did Jerry Jones say about Dalvin Cook? With all our issues at running back, Jerry Jones downplayed. I hope Mark's listening. Jerry Jones downplayed our running back situation right now. And when he was asked about, because he's like, oh, we're great. I'm happy with my guys. When he was asked about Dalvin Cook potentially playing this week, Jerry Jones responded with this, quote, I don't know that will happen. I must tell you, this is a little bit of a first for me because I've never seen so much made of our position and what we're doing at that running back position this year. Not having done this or not having done that at running back. Both of these guys came out at the same time. He's talking about Derrick Henry and Ezekiel Elliott. And again, they're playing each other this week. He said, Jerry Jones continued by saying, quote, we've got a pretty good contemporary of our competition this week in Zeke Elliott, and I'm pleased with what Zeke is doing. Running back is just not on our radar as far as an area of interest. I don't have anybody else in the world asking me about this but the media. That's because he's in an echo chamber of a bunch of schmuckos that agree with a bunch of yes men and say yes to whatever Jerry Jones says.
Yeah.
So because of this, running back is not on the air, not on the radar of interest. The Cowboys are not looking for another running back, and they're not even looking to but they're not even looking to elevate Dalvin Cook against the Ravens this week. So voila. Jerry Jones wants to make this about the money. Why? Derrick Henry versus Ezekiel Elliott. He don't want Dalvin Cook getting in the way of that. He wants Derrick Henry, second round running back, versus in that same year, first round running back Zeke. He wants them kind of head to head. He don't care if we win or lose. He wants to see head to head. Let's put this out and advertise this as Derrick Henry and Zeke. You know, these two old running backs going at it. You know, that's what he wants. He don't want Dalvin Cook in the mix.
Yeah.
And that's. Should I say? You guys want to all say it with me? 1, 2, 3. Clown show, motherfuckers. Yeah. So clown show shit from these motherfuckers again, and they just don't want to put Dalvin Cook because Jerry Jones basically said it's about Derrick Henry and Zeke. He just ignored the Dalvin Cook situation. No running back going to be added. I see Jet Li 44, who said, look at the Cowboy. He heard the Cowboys looking for a trade. Jet Li, if it's a trade, it's for a scrub. And trust me, they ain't looking to trade. The Cowboys are talking to get the fans hot and heated and see, who's out there? Who can we get? Who can we trade? These two schmucks you see on your screen, Steven and Jerry Jones, they will not make any moves. Bank on that. And if they do, they'll be Jordan Phillips playing 2 games and then going on IR because they don't want to cut him and look stupid. That's the clown show. And one of our big time clown show supporters in the sense of, loving that clown show, shit, we got to yell at these two owners, the Joneses. What did Marco Seppian have to say with that 5 on it?
He said, media and fans. Jerry Jones, my heavenly mom would say to me when I was an idiot, which was often, if someone calls you a fucking a-hole, you are one. You hear my mom, Jerry Jones?
You're right. And he don't hear people saying he's an asshole. He don't hear people saying, like, get a running back. He hears this right here. Get safeties, defensive linemen. No, we're good. We did our job at defensive linemen. We got the leftovers. Old leftovers. We get our job at safety. We got some hanging honors there at safety. We're great at running back because this week it's Zeke versus Derrick Henry. This is the clown show at its finest. Maybe at its worst. You guys feel that. You guys understand, right? Mm-hmm. So, big shout outs to Marco Seppian running things right now. Now let's get into the Ravens because now here's where we break it down, guys. And I'm gonna give you the ways. It seems very, very unlikely right now, but there's ways to win here for the Cowboys. But first, we talked about injury report. How about the Ravens injury report? Basically, one guy out, and he's a guard. His name is Malaysia Almuvale Lahulu. He ain't playing. This is my point. This guy is out, but he's like their third stringer, guys. You guys feel me? So their only guy that's out for this game is not even the guy who's going to play. You got other guys who ended up in limited practice. Cornerback Nate Wiggins, I'd say he's the biggest guy to watch. He is limited the last 2 days and was questionable for this game. So Nate Wiggins, he has a neck issue and a concussion. Should be playing though, according to everybody. He had a red jersey on the other day just because of the concussion things, but he's working himself through the protocol, the concussion protocol. Mm-hmm. So it looks like Nate Wiggins will play, but he's probably the biggest issue for them, not to play. The other 2 guys were in full practice today, and that was Deontay Hardy, receiver and return specialist, and linebacker starter David Ojabo with a quad issue was full practice questionable. Both these guys are questionable, Hardy and Ojabo, both questionable for the game. But I also want to add one last thing to this. You didn't hear me say any offensive linemen. Again, when I look at the injuries here on there, one offensive lineman's out, but he's a backup. When you look at Ronnie Staley, who didn't practice, but then was full the first day, but then was full practice. This is a tackle, an important position. But you look at the offensive line. I want to say something because right now the Ravens have like an offensive line combination issue. Remember, we want the consistency with Mike McCarthy on the offensive line. Yeah. We've heard that. The Ravens could be lining up with a different offensive line combination against the Cowboys, and maybe even in-game. Just so you guys know the reason why, and this is the little keys you're going to start hearing of matchups and things we got to win. Baltimore, they've given up 23 pressures so far in 2 games, which ranks 15th in the NFL. They're basically very average. They allow pressure on their quarterback, on Lamar Jackson. So that's the first thing. And when you look at the matchup that we have against the Ravens, the rush offense of the Ravens versus the Cowboys' run defense, it seems like a mismatch. But the Ravens also, with this offensive line changing issue here, pass protection has been an issue for them when it comes to pressures. And they've had issues on their offensive line because of this kind of they're going to try a little switcheroo here, combination switch on the offensive line this week. It looks like they might do that. If they do that, they might be a little rusty. But remember, the Cowboys had problems. We have problems at the defensive tackle spot. So they have a little bit of an issue with their combination of offensive linemen, and we obviously have a big issue with the interior defensive line of our team, and depth, I will say. We got a drop from the man Mark Hovsepian with that 5 on it. Let's see what he said. He goes, I've never, ever heard one guy say the running backs are good. Great job. Seriously, how is this a-hole so blind? Zeke, Rico, and Deuce are defensive tackles while you are at it.
I mean, Jerry just reiterated, I think it was either this morning or yesterday, and I want to say Stephen Jones backed him up, but yeah, he said it. They feel confident about our running game. They feel confident with the guys we have. They don't see a problem, Mark.
Yeah, I mean,
for them, it's peachy keen Listerine. We're good. We're set. We just need to knock a little more rust off or something.
Yeah, the front office playing the clown show game. They will always tell us what they think, because they think what they do is best, and then that we should believe their stories. You know how we feel about that here in My Cowboys Family. Now, when you look at the stats, points per game so far this year, we've scored 26. They've scored 21.5 points a game. So, we score a little bit more offensively than them. Defensively, we are allowing 30.5 points per game, and they're allowing 26.5 points per game. So it sounds like we should hit that 26. We should hit 26-point mark somewhere in there. But it's going to be the points against that makes a difference. Can we hold down Lamar Jackson? Because if they get around 20, they're going to get around 26, 27 points too. You look at these numbers, it's dead even when it comes to offense and defense points scored and points allowed. We rush for 85 yards a game. They allow 49.5 yards a game. We have our work cut out for us on the run side of things. You look at their rushing. They run for 168 yards a game, one of the best in the league. We allow 141.5 rushing yards per game. That's one of the worst in the league. So you can see the keys to them. They want to run the ball all over our asses. Passing yards are averaging 224. They are allowing 257 passing yards. So maybe they'll get a little bit more passing. I think that is one of their weaknesses, is their pass defense. But then on the ground, my goodness, when you look at they're passing for almost 250 yards a game. We're allowing only 190 yards a game. So something's got to give there. Can we hold Lamar Jackson's passing game down? We'll see. Turnover differential right now, we're +1. They are at 0. They're even at losing the ball and recovering the ball, and we are currently just +1. And when you add up all the times we lost the ball and all the times we've recovered the ball. Total yards right now for the Cowboys allowed, we only allow 331 total yards a game. They allow 306.5 yards a game. Their defense is pretty fucking good. They had a solid, damn good defense, and I have also a solid, damn good 2 drops in a row, back to back, like our 90s Cowboys, by Mark Hosepian. And he said, yeah, I feel confident in my turtle. So pathetic. It's like Jerry Jones saying, I'm so happy with my belly button dick. It's the same thing, right? It's the best one. He's probably saying. Mark Hosepian also said, with another J. Lou $2 holler, I predict at least 250 yards between Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. And I'd say that's a what is that? What do we say? That's one of those like a surprise kind of stat or something like that. Not a surprise stat, but like a kind of one of our predictions that may be improbable. That one may be probable, unfortunately for us. Unfortunately. Now, it's interesting. If you guys have the Red Zone, which is an extra cost now for the NFL, for the Sunday package, they give you a program called NFL Pro. And basically, you can compare all these stats, analytics about both teams. So you look at the Ravens and the Cowboys. The Ravens offense, they're 8th in designed runs. Our defense is 31st against designed runs. Issue. 10th in overall efficiency for their offense. We're 30th in stopping the run. Rushing inside the tackles, they're 9th best. We're 32nd inside. That's where they're going to go. That's where we're going to fail. Rushing in the red zone, the Ravens are 9th. We're 31st on defense. Rushing in a stacked box, they're 7th. We're 28th when we stack the box, stopping the run. Rushing under center, now that's where they're 17th. But we're 31st. Rushing outside the tackles, they're 14th and we're 27th. I mean, we're horrible on every single one of these rushing stats. When we run against a light box, I'm sorry, when the Ravens run against a light box, they're 20th. We're 28th when we set up our lighter boxes in there. Now, when we rush rushing shotgun, for them, they're 14th. We are 27th. And when the quarterback scrambles, which is a major one, Lamar Jackson, I'm surprised they're only at 13th in the league. We're 17th. Believe it or not, that is where the Cowboys are best matched up against the Ravens analytically, with our defense against their offense. It's the quarterback scramble. I really hope we can stop, because that used to be one of our worst issues. Now, flipping it around, our offense versus their defense, shotgun 29th. That's how efficient we are. 29th. The Ravens are 4th on defense. When we run against a light box, we're 29th. When they have a light box, they're 5th best in the league. Rushing inside the tackles, we're only 26. We're horribly 26th. The Ravens are 5th. Overall rushing efficiency, 24th for the Cowboys. Ravens defense, 4th. Design runs for us, 20th in the league. They are 10th against design runs. Rushing when we have a stacked box against us, we're 19th. They are 11th. When we run outside the tackles, we're 21st. They're 13th at stopping it. When we run inside the red zone, horrible, 27th. They are 17th. Not great. When we run under center behind, new rookie there, Cooper Beebe, we're 18th in the league. The Ravens have trouble there. They're 14th in the league. Running up the middle and stopping them running up the middle, like under center, is probably our best thing here, except for when our quarterback scrambles. We are 19th. I don't think the Ravens ever had a quarterback scramble against them yet. So you guys seeing kind of where we're heading with this? Definitely not in a good direction. Oh, 1 second, guys. I got to check on something. Hold on. All right, good guys. Got it here. All right, so as we're finishing it up here, I'm trying to get some of the, I guess you can say the matchups to watch for, and maybe some of the keys to victory for our Cowboys. We're going to start on offense for a second here. Our offense versus their defense, and I'm going to start with Dak Prescott, of course. Real quickly, guys, Dak is 10 of 13 passing for 128 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. You know what? When he has these nice numbers, 10 of 13, 128 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. In 2024, that is whenever we work the play action. And I said this the other day, I'm going to say it again. Play action is one of the keys for the Cowboys offense to hurt the Ravens defense. That is a 100% key. Dak has 132.9 passer rating off of play action. And also, that ranks him at number 1. Dak is the number 1 play action quarterback in the NFL, according to Next Gen Stats. Now, Lamar Jackson, because of his own great rushing ability, and of course Derrick Henry, he's third on this list. Dak is first. Lamar Jackson is third on play action with 123.9 passer rating. So, we're going to stay on the Cowboy offense, but Lamar Jackson is fantastic in play action as well. Not as good as Dak, but not much of a drop-off. Now, we talk about what matchups to watch for and keys to victory. Obviously, play action from Dak. And it's not Dak doing it. It's the coaching doing it. It's coaches, McCarthy, telling them to do this. So, hopefully we have more of these plays and coordinator, whether it's, Schottenheimer or McCarthy, get Dak in more play action, and it's going to help our entire team. And who should we throw the ball to in play action? I mean, anybody's out there that's open down the field, but the main man, CeeDee Lamb. Here's one of these keys and matchups we should watch to try to have the Cowboys bounce back against these Ravens. Wide receiver CeeDee Lamb versus cornerback Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey, cornerback, going to be probably on the outside most of the time. He's the left cornerback, number 44. Guy to watch for them. I mean, the other guys out there, Brandon Stevens, number 21, someone we can pick on. Kyle Hamilton in the nickel. We'll be watching CD some as well. But CeeDee Lamb against Marlon Humphrey on the outside. The Cowboy offense right now seems to be completely going through CeeDee Lamb. As he goes, that's how the offense goes. The Ravens know this, and they will do their best to try to stop him in this matchup. Now, there's different ways of doing that. They could bracket him. There'll be like multiple guys in kind of a zone coverage for him. So they can bracket him with multiple players, or they can just deploy their best pure coverage man, cornerback Marlon Humphrey, number 44. If they use him to shadow CeeDee Lamb, it makes a lot of sense. It would free up the rest of their defensive players to kind of be utilized in other locations. This could be a matchup that helps decide the outcome of the game. So CeeDee Lamb versus Marlon Humphrey, when number 88 is against half of that, number 44, that's where we'll see who wins. That's going to be a battle that we hopefully can win. If we can win that, we have an advantage. I mean, listen, this presents a chance to unleash CeeDee Lamb, especially if you move him to the nickel, that slot. And the passing game will also have another chance to kind of get down the field against a Ravens pass defense. Passing deep, not the run defense, the pass defense has given up a league-leading 567 yards in the air in 2024 in 2 games. And they've also allowed 10 plays, the Ravens defense, 10 plays of 20 yards or more in the air. So, again, guys, a pass defense from the Ravens, that's their weakness. The run defense, fucking great. I mean, they're going to keep us where we are running the ball pretty shitty. But their pass defense is their weakness. That's why Dak to CD, and then opens up other things. We got Ferguson out there, use some Cooks, Tolbert. Can Jalen Brooks, if he plays, can he not do, miss blocks? And and then maybe we can get the run game flowing a little bit too, even if it is minimal against a very good Ravens defense. But to me, this is staying active in the air is essential for the Cowboys to keep pace with the Ravens offense and a way of putting up points on the board against their defense. So play action, CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, those are the major functions here. Now, the only way you're going to get Dak and CeeDee Lamb rolling and flowing and going is if you get your offensive line blocking. And all this kind of Kind of is actually a good thing here, guys, because the Cowboys right now have scored 52 points on offense this year. That is 7th most in the NFL. As I said the other day, when you have your first 4 drives against the Saints for the Cowboys, and your offense puts up 4 straight scoring drives, yes, three field goals and 1 touchdown, and you could have had 3 touchdowns possibly in there. One was CD's fault, one was Dak's fault, but the point is, we had 16 points in the middle of the second quarter, and we're down by 19 points. Obviously, that's more on the defense than the offense. Obviously, 16 points is not bad halfway through the second quarter and scoring on all 4 of your offensive drives. So the Cowboys have scored 52 points on offense this year as the 7th best in the NFL. The Ravens, on defense, have allowed a total of 53 points. That's the 5th worst. So, guys, they allow points, we get points. They're not great in the air. They're not great against play action. We are very good in the air and great in play action. What about passing yards? The Cowboys are averaging 224 passing yards per game. I think Lamar's averaging, I think they're averaging about, 25 yards more than us. But we're 8th best in the NFL with passing yards per game. The Ravens are allowing on defense 257 yards passing per game. That is 32nd. That is the worst in the NFL. So if the offensive line can keep the Raven pass rushers off of Dak Prescott long enough, we will be able to play action, throw the ball, CeeDee Lamb, and get down the field passing the ball. That is already shown. We can put up points against this team. They have a good defense, but not, it's not. They're probably ranked. They're ranked 2nd, and we're ranked 3rd defensively. But their weakness is in the pass game. If we want to run all day against them, we're going to lose big. If we want to pass against them, that's our best chance. Now, I will say inside, Matabuki there, their interior defensive lineman, is their best guy inside. And that's the guy you got to kind of concentrate on and put your extra effort into him. But the biggest matchups are going to probably be against our guards. Travis Jones versus Tyler Smith. Travis Jones, defensive edge guy. They were in a 3-4, but he's going to be playing over guard. And Travis Jones, number 98, going up against Tyler Smith is a matchup to watch. Also, Travis Jones not going to just go up against Tyler Smith. He's going to go up against Zach Martin. He's going to go up against Cooper Beebe. He's going to be lined up against all these interior guys. So even though Matt Buki is the guy who everyone's talking about, we got to watch Travis Jones, defensive tackle number 98, inside against guys, and at defensive end in the 3-4, but he could be a tackle in the 4-3. He's against Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, and Cooper Beebe. That's an interesting little side matchup to watch. If we can control that, we may be able to run up the middle, and that could open up much more in the passing game. But Travis Jones is one of the main reasons why the Ravens' run defense is so stifling. It's so good. So it's going to be major that our big 3 inside can control Travis Jones. If we can control Travis Jones, number 98, we can get that run game flowing a little bit better, a little above average. That's all we need when it comes to that. So that could be a positive thing for the Cowboys to work on, establishing the run through the offensive line, but then through the running backs, whether it's Deuce Vaughn, Rico Dowdle, or, of course, number 15, Ezekiel Elliott. The Cowboys' rushing attack has been lackluster these first 2 weeks. Even though we ran over 100 yards total on the ground in week 1, we struggled to find kind of a consistency on the ground game. We averaged only 3.7 yards per carry so far this year in both games. That's the 7th worst in the NFL. Zeke, our leading rusher, has 56 yards and 1 touchdown and 17 carries. Against the Saints, ineffective. Everyone. Zeke, Rico had what? Rico Dowdle led the Cowboys against the Saints with 30 yards rushing. And the longest run against the Saints, Dak Prescott for 8 yards. And then we got a team that's really, really even better at stopping the run. So the bottom tier rushing attack that we have here complicates this matchup against a very formidable and dominating Ravens defense, especially on the ground. They currently are the top run defense in the league. They've allowed 99 rushing yards total in 2 games. So, yeah, that's pretty goddamn good. That's, 54.75 yards total rushing per game, not 54, 49.75 yards. I mean, they're crazy good stopping the run. The Cowboy offense will have to, again, we will need to keep running the ball effectively, not overly running the ball or trying to, we just need to run the ball effectively enough against this Ravens defense. If we can do that, it will help us control the clock a little bit. It will keep Lamar Jackson off the field and opens up opportunities in the passing game, to guys like CeeDee Lamb and guys like, even throw it to Deuce Vaughn in space. Throw it to Jake Ferguson, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks. I mean, we got a lot of targets. If we get the blocking and we get the run game at least being average, we can get CeeDee Lamb into this bitch and really control the game at home a little bit better. You guys feel me on this? So overall, obviously, we got to establish some kind of running attack, even if it's not great. Now, another big thing for the Cowboys, let's flip it to defense. We got to contain a top Baltimore Raven running game, ground attack. A week after we held Cleveland to just under 100 yards rushing, we couldn't handle one guy with the Saints in Alvin Kamara. He ran for 115 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. He had another touchdown in the air he caught. He amassed almost, the whole Saints team amassed almost 200 yards rushing on the ground. This week, it may be more difficult with Lamar Jackson, one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the NFL, supported by Derrick Henry, 2-time rushing champion and a beast to try to tackle. So, through 2 weeks of play, though, the Ravens are 0-2. One of the league's, even though they're 0-2, they have one of the league's best rushing offenses. So, even with all the good rushing they got, the offensive, they lost. Honestly, they could have been at least 1-1. They were a toe away from being 1-1 in that first game against the Chiefs. So, they're up there. They're close, but they didn't get that win yet. They're still one of the top rushing teams in the NFL. They currently rank 7th in the league in total rushing yards with 336 rushing yards. And they 3rd in average yards per carry at 5.7. So the Cowboys have to maintain discipline in the rushing lanes, or else Lamar Jackson will escape the pocket and make plays with his legs. He does this all the time. So the Cowboys have to also be much more physical against the running game and the running back, especially against a bruising running back like Derrick Henry. So overall, Baltimore presents a significantly tougher test on the ground for the Cowboy defense than we had against the Saints. Not a good sign for the Cowboys. Our Cowboy defense is currently 30th in overall rushing efficiency, while allowing the 4th most yards after contact. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, they come to town here. They both pose unique threats to our front 7 on defense. Micah Parsons, he called Sunday's loss embarrassing, and now we're going to face a Ravens team looking to avoid an embarrassing 0-3 start, which would be the first 0-3 start for the Ravens since 2015 if they lose to us in Dallas. But to me, it's about, all about stopping that run. And our weakness right now, the biggest weakness on defense is the interior defensive line. The most damning evidence, it shows on our defensive tackles. Most of the teams, I would say not most, but both teams we've played, most of the times they are not double teaming our defensive tackles. And that means Mozzie and Osa. According to the numbers, guys, Osa Odigizua has the highest double team rate inside for our Cowboy defensive line. He gets double teamed only 44% of the time. That is 52nd amongst all defensive tackles in the league. That means there's no fear. There's no fear. You can just one-on-one him, and you get the other guys going down the field blocking linebackers, opening up holes in the run game. So Osa, who does a good job overall rushing the passer, but cannot take on double teams. They don't have to double team him. And that's a major issue for the Cowboys' run game, and it makes it harder, and it stresses the linebackers. And even worse, the guys that should be double teamed the most, which are the nose tackles, which aka Mozzie Smith, he gets double teamed only 34% of the time. That's 10% less than Osa. And Osa's 52nd. And Osa shouldn't even get double teamed as much as a nose tackle. Wow. Horrible for Osa, but even worse for Mozzie. That shows you where the big weakness. If they run up the middle and they're at all successful, we are going to be in for a very long game against the Ravens. Offenses also see this, opposing offenses. And they know that they can just use one guy to block Osa or one guy to block Mozzie. That leaves three other guys to block linebackers and edge rushers. The rest, I mean, that opens up a hole of 4 yards, and there's no contact for after 4 yards. That makes the very difficult job for the linebackers in the second level, as there's offensive linemen coming at them, making the Cowboys, have to take on those blocks and get run over. By then, he's got 4 yards already running the ball, and then he's running over the linebacker for another 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. That's the issue with the Cowboys. Not the linebackers or the safeties when it comes to the run game. It has to do with the defensive interior front, and that is a weakness for the Cowboys. And the offenses know now that they can just single block our interior defensive linemen, one to Osa and one to Mozzie. And they know already they're in that second level in seconds. And they get there quicker, and the Cowboys don't make you pay. So with all these things, guys, it makes life very difficult for our defense, especially our linebackers. Finishing up here, guys, speaking of the run game we've done and allowed, the Cowboys allowed 190 rushing yards last week, over 4.5 yards per carry. That's almost a first down every 2 plays, running the ball. It is a multi-year issue stopping the run for our defense. And like I said, this week, we're in for it. We're getting tested against the Ravens. So I hope the locker room and the coaches and the players are figuring out how to fix this, because this will be a very long year if we cannot stop the run. And, this comes into limiting explosive plays by the defense. We have to create explosive plays. I talked about that earlier with play action using CeeDee Lamb, just getting a little success in the run game, and we can put points up on the board against this defense. But we have to limit their explosive plays. We saw what the Saints did. What was that guy? Shahir, whatever. He fucking scored on us right away. That was a explosive play, and we did not limit many of those against the Saints in week 2. Week 1 was not a problem. Great job. We allowed only one play of over 25 yards, which qualifies as an explosive play. But week 2, we allowed explosive plays of 39 yards, 57 yards, and 70 yards. By the way, 2 of those plays resulted in touchdowns and 14 points. 2 out of those 3 big gains, those explosive plays, were for touchdowns. So while the Ravens may not have the same big play threats in the passing game as the Saints do, and they don't have the passing threat game. They got Mark Andrews. They got Zay Flowers. These are they got Aguilar's trash in my mind, I think. But, they got Rashad Bateman out there as another receiver. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Derrick Henry, Justice Hill. They just signed him to a big deal there. Even fullback Patrick Richard, who's good. But they don't have the superstar power, the big play guys like the Saints did. Except for Lamar Jackson. You got to keep your eyes on him, or the Cowboys will get wrecked, obviously. So we got to limit explosive plays. And again, even though the Ravens do not have that same big play threat as the Saints, the Cowboys defense should have viewed this last Saints game as a wake-up call. Stop fucking around, Cowboys. Now, how did the Cowboys, McCarthy actually spoke about this, how are the Cowboys practicing to face a dynamic quarterback like Lamar Jackson? McCarthy said this about Lamar Jackson, quote, "Well, he's dynamic. Number one, we feel really good about what Trey Lance can give us up there as far as running those scout team reps, and Cooper Rush will handle some of the other things too. Lamar is a dynamic player." What does that mean? That means that Mark McCarthy is thinking, hey, Trey Lance is going to be running in practice this whole week. He was running as the quote-unquote Lamar Jackson player. Again, for the defense, he was the scout team offensive quarterback as Lamar Jackson against the Cowboy defense to kind of practice some of their game planning and scheming against a guy that can move around in the backfield there. So they asked McCarthy, well, how do you prepare for Lamar Jackson in practice? And McCarthy said, quote, well, backup Cooper Rush tries, but Trey Lance does a really good job of it. We try to emulate it the best we can, and actually I thought Trey did a really nice job yesterday. So sounds like Trey Lance is the scrambler in practice for the defense when they're facing a scrambling, running quarterback like Lamar Jackson. And that leads me to my last major point here. 2 points, I guess. Our best, really, 2 players, and one of them, both of them are on our thumbnail. You see them right there, number 13 and number 11. Micah Parsons, number 11, and of course, number 13, DeMarvion Overshown. And I want to talk about Mr. Overshown because he was badly utilized last week. I know the wife had talked about earlier in the week how the Cowboys were trying to rest him. He's number 13 now, not 35. That was from last year. But it's a big matchup. Him, quarterback spy on Lamar Jackson. I know Zimmer said Micah might do it. Bullshit. I think it's going to be number 13, DeMarvion Overshown. He saw his snap count go from like 44 snaps to like 20 or 13 in this from week 1 to week 2. So do not be surprised if you see an upshoot of DeMarvion Overshown and a huge uptick in playing time in this matchup against the Ravens. His Overshown sideline to sideline speed and agility makes him the perfect weapon to deploy as a quarterback spy on Lamar Jackson. He's probably the best dual threat quarterback in the league. So the Cowboys cannot allow the Ravens and Lamar Jackson to run wild on them if we want to have a chance to win this game. So to me, number 13, DeMarvion Overshown, is the Cowboys' best chance to contain, not to stop, but contain Lamar Jackson this week. You know, another note, and again, Lamar Jackson runs the ball a lot. Derrick Henry will be running the ball a lot. The Cowboys' defense and DeMarvion Overshown is on the field, and when he's off the field, EPA on the field. What was that? Estimated play. I forgot what that. It's an analytic, but basically, it's how many earned points allowed, I think, on the field. And when he's on the field, it's negative 0.16 points allowed when he's on the field. When he's off the field, we're allowing 0.17, which is still low, but it's a lot. It's a whole point lower when he's in the game. And then success percentage allowed against the run. When he's on the field, we allow a 45% success rate when the other teams run the ball. When he is off the field, it goes up to 67%, over 20%, 22% increase there when he is off the field. That means we get run on a lot worse when there's no DeMarvion Overshown. Now, yes, these numbers have to have some context. We only had 2 games in it, but still crazy to know that DeMarvion Overshown is not just a good big hitter or a blitzer or a linebacker that can cover or whatever. He's a guy that can track down quarterbacks and can stop the run. He helps stop the run. So that's major right there for the Cowboys. Overshown against Lamar Jackson. And the last guy I'm going to say here is, if you got that set up going, now you got Micah floating around the defensive line and trying to find the spot on this kind of reshuffled Ravens offensive line. Micah and the rest of the Cowboys pass rush need a huge bounce back game after that embarrassment, that no-show performance against the Saints. But the Ravens offensive line is solid, but they've been inconsistent, especially this year, the first 2 weeks of the year. They were victimized. They were molested last week in week 2 against the Vegas Raiders. Max Crosby terrorized them the entire game and basically helped sway the outcome to the Raiders' favor and for the win. So Micah has to be the Max Crosby this week and must do the same thing that Max Crosby did for the Raiders last week. We got to have not Overshown doing this. We got to have Micah mother effing Parsons doing this week. I don't want him chasing Lamar Jackson. I want him focusing on pass rushing, pure pass rushing kind of things from all over the defensive, all over the trenches. And I want to see Overshown. I don't want to see Micah having to worry about Lamar Jackson also. I want to see Overshown focusing on Lamar Jackson. Those are keys on defense. So offense, what do we got to do, guys? Say it together. On offense, we have to do play action, establish a little bit of the running game. We can have 70 yards rushing, but we have to establish the run game a little bit, play action out of that, and it opens things up for our entire offense, the scheme from McCarthy and the passing game from Dak, but also really focusing on CeeDee Lamb versus Marlon Humphrey, and in the slot, that is going to be what makes or breaks us along with the play action. I wish I could say we do more motion, but we know we won't do motion pre-snap or on the snap. So we got to hope play action has worked. We only did it 6 times last week, and we were perfect. 6 for 6, 91 yards and a touchdown. So in a horrible game against the Saints, still perfect in play action. I suggest we continue doing that and maybe double it up this week against the Saints. I mean, not against the Saints, but against the Ravens. And hit them where it hurts. That's the best way of us doing that. And defensively, it's all about, of course, moving Micah on the defensive line and getting some pressure like Max Crosby did last week against a reshuffled offensive line from the Ravens. But the true key may be DeMarvion Overshown, just tracking down Lamar Jackson wherever he is in the field, quarterback spying his ass. That, to me, may be the biggest important thing we need out there on that field by our defense, even bigger than Micah Parsons. He's major. Micah will do damage if Overshown can just keep an eye on and control the running ability of Lamar Jackson. Now that's going to be it here, guys. The wife had to get to bed. She was up very, very extremely early today, so she can only make it to about half the stream. But I got it covered. We went through all the breakdowns. I'm going to do the shout-outs here in a minute. But first, let me give the huge shout-outs to the people that were repping the board this week. And again, we got one more day left, Sunday game day, for the reppers to continue repping on here. And who are they? Well, you can see the sponsor of the week is the great Chill Pill. Hell yeah, Chill Pill, who's now in the over everything level as well. Big shout outs to her. Chill Pill, also the queen of the gifting membership board. Big shout outs to her on both those boards. You see Marco Seppian, 100 points on the stream, boss, repping that. Big shout out to him. He was down like 30 something earlier in the week. He's back to fully loaded. And don't forget the king of the Cash App, Jet Lee 44. Big shout outs to him. He is currently still in the lead in the Cash App side of things, trying to go back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. Overall, though, for that weekly winner board, it's a tight race. But right now, Marco Seppian is by himself in first place. You see him right above my head there. Mark in first, Calvin Richard, Jet Lee in third, Skeptical in fourth. The rest of the crew, appreciate all of you guys that have dropped the love tonight. Skeptical fan, Marco Seppian, and Brandon J. Thank you guys on that side of things. And any other leaders I got to shout out? Oh, yeah, Skeptical Fan and Jet Li are tied currently from the membership gifting side of things as well. Mark Hosepian's got the overall board and the sponsor. He's trying to take that stream boss, keep it his, and then take over that sponsor week from Chill Pill. We shall see. Jet Li she's just trying to go back to back on the Cash App King. Appreciate you guys as well. Now, as I'm rocking out of here, I'm going to shout out some people here, and I'll do some comments too. Yes, Frustrating Seabass, Burn Bar in the house, Matt Batten here with us, Scorpio, Marco Seppian, Cassie Stewart, Matt Batten, Luis Ortiz, Scorpio Seabass, which we hopefully get you on the show here sometime next week once again. Let's see, we got everybody repeating. I see a lot of people here: Luis Ortiz, Matt Batten, Cassie Stewart, Scorpio Seabass, GM in the house here. Luis Ortiz, running the voice. Brandon Autumn. How is that? Auburnderry. Let's get Auburnderry. Get Dalvin off the practice squad. We talked about that. They're not doing it this week, man. Not yet. I think Ferguson can have 5 catches, GM. We got to stop the run or we're in trouble. 100%, Matt. 100%. Lipke, I hope so. Well, let's see if we use him. It seems like we're going to throw the ball more than run the ball. Yeah, I hear you, brother. I'm right there. Lipke, 21 personnel, 2 running backs and a tight end. That's what we need to do more often. A lead block. If we can't handle it, right now we're getting empty. We're the second most, I think the second least in 8-man or more boxes. But we're only successful, I think, like 4th best in the league, successful running the ball against light boxes. That's pretty bad. So we'll figure it out, Lewis. Don't worry. Scorpio here with us. Stephen White in the house. There it is. Expected points added. Thank you, Scorpio. And that just means it's just like every play they're in, how many points when Darren Overshown is in the game, everything drops. When he's out of the game, the offense that we're playing, they do better by basically a whole yard / a whole, I'd say a whole point better. They score an extra point on every drive, basically, or every play, I guess. Every drive, right? Is that what it is? Every drive. So we hope for the best. I will say this, guys. Unknown Ninja in the house. Azteca Aguilar here with us. What's up, man? I appreciate everybody here with us. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit that notification bell. The wife and I will give our predictions and our, I forget the name. What's the surprise pick of the surprise call of the week? I forgot what I call. I can't believe I'm brain dead on that now. But whatever it is, guys, we will be back here in 2 days on Sunday afternoon for this game. Camera on, our reactions in full effect, and we'll see if we can handle the Ravens week 3 at home. Hopefully we can. Score predictions. No, with score predictions, we'll get. My score prediction is going to be somewhere like we're going to score maybe in the high 20s again, and Ravens going to be right there with us. Probably a 3-point game, 2-point game, a 1-point game. It's going to be close, in my opinion. I never pick against my Cowboys, so Cowboys take it. We'll see what the. Well, I'll think about it. We got a whole day still to think about it, and we'll tell you guys our score predictions and the. What was that? I can't believe I always forget the goddamn thing. Like Micah's gonna get like 7 sacks. What's that? Bold predictions. There you go. Bold predictions. Score predictions and bold predictions, as well as the inactives, the captains, and all the insides and outsides of this upcoming game against the Ravens. We'll be starting a little earlier so we can get you all that information and our thoughts, and then it's game time, baby, Sunday. And we also, after the game, we'll crown champions, whether a new sponsor of the week, a new Cash App King, a new gifting champion. We shall see. Will Mark hold down that leader, that stream boss? We shall see. But right now, he's running it. And thank you guys in the chat, dropping the love wherever you're at. We cannot do this without you guys. So as we say here in My Cowboys Family, on a Fan Friday, why do we do this here at MCF pretty much every single damn day and night? It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here on this channel, we always rep that star over everything. And of course, 8 years, 8 seasons. But in our 8th year, we got 7 under our belt on YouTube here on My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys! You know it, guys. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long and dropping that love from above. Can't do this without you guys, whether it's Streambot, or I'm sorry, Cash App or PayPal or Super Chats or whatever, guys. Thank you guys. Gifting memberships, whatever. Skeptical Gifted had a thanks drop there. We got memberships there. We got Super Chats. Thank you guys for all that. The love and support. Cannot do this without your, you're back and forth with us in the comments, and you're back and forth with the drops of love. So thank you on that. On that note, it is time to drop out and clock out officially for the night. And enjoy the rest of our weekends right before we get to the game day, game time, in the afternoon. Baltimore Ravens at the Dallas Cowboys, and then it's on. So we'll be back then. We'll see you then, guys. Thank you on that note as we relock and reload for game day. Basically tomorrow, because right now it's technically Saturday morning where I'm at. But we'll be ready on Sunday afternoon for the game, guys. Before we can officially drop out of here for the night, as the wife always says, first, we got to drop the beat. Oh, hell yeah. This is a wrap here at My Cowboys Family. 2 hours of pure fun and knowledge about our team preparing against the Ravens, all the matchups, the keys to victory, and beyond. Injury updates and beyond. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you. You guys could be anywhere. You're here chilling with us, listening to Cowboy news info and updates. Join us on the After Dark. If I go live tonight, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell, because there's no rewatches and there's no rewinding over there. But on here, guys, thank you all. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell. But hey, we heard all this Cowboy news info and updates here on MCF for another Cowboys chat, baby. You know how it goes. And this specific chat, Week 3 preview for the 2024 season for our Dallas Cowboys, the Baltimore Ravens at the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go. It's big. We got to pluck these birds and send them out the door dead, like you see right there. Here in MCF, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star always over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here in My Cowboys Family. Much love to all you guys watching on the nightly. Can't do this without you. Don't forget to hit that like button again for the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Over 40,000 family members. And, of course, hit that notification bell. Set it to all videos so you know when we're going live. And we'll be going live on Sunday for the game. Let's go. I cannot wait to get, hopefully, that win and go 2-1 and beat a good Baltimore team. We shall see. Guys, thanks again. Make sure you don't forget to follow us in Discord. Follow us at Twitter, on X, at My Cowboys Family. You know, when we tell you when we go live to there as well. Take care, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. We'll see you Sunday for the game. And never, ever forget, go Cowboys!